All right. Hey, everybody. I'm back again. Another reaction video. This time it's more talking about Savix's video post about the whole situation after a very long tweet that he made, which, if you have seen it, you know the gist of it. If you haven't, go read it. I mean, be prepared. It's a small book, but he's 100% right with it. He's not, he's not trying to be absurd. He's trying to be level-headed and make a good point on a lot of things. So this is a video of him talking on more things after it, and I kind of want to go over some of the things he says because I do full-heartedly believe a lot of the things he says in this video, and he makes really good points. And I'm part of the gaming community. A lot of y'all are part of the gaming community, and these are things we see, things we notice, and things happen. But long story short, Pirate basically let his ego set in when it came to everything and didn't want to take blame for his part of the situation. As I said in my other video, I get it. We're gamers. We all have ego on us. It comes with the territory. But I mean, Pirate's coming up on 40 years old, like myself. Like, at some point, you gotta let your ego kind of slide. Like, there's a time and a place where it fits, and it's fine. And he kind of chose a really weird hill to die on. And then, of course, we have people like Asmon siding with him. But yeah, I take everything Asmon says with a grain of salt, because some things he says are knowledgeable, some things are just dumb. So it is what it is. But so I just kind of want to go over Savix's video here because I do agree with them on this stuff.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So I just uploaded this tweet, and I think it had to be done because it's shining a lot of light onto WoW as if WoW is a bad game and people are just being mad for no reason. It's more than that. Just read through this and you'll get a whole explanation. And there's like video for context. If you need more, I mean, the whole Twitch VODs are uploaded, etc. So check that out. Anyways, why I'm recording this video is because I want to explain some things. It's something to do with people being afraid to speak out. And this has been happening a lot, especially in the politics side, right? A lot of the people are afraid to speak out their voices. I used to be the same.
And here's the thing. That is true. It is true. I've been the same way in the past. I've gotten to a point now with my age where I don't care anymore. I'm gonna say what I want, and you're gonna like it or you're not. Like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to be a douchebag about it unless you've pushed the point that I need to be. But the older I get, the less I care about people, not wanting me to say certain things or whatever. It's like, we live in the same world. Get over it. So you should be able to speak your mind, especially if you have something like important to say or something that makes sense or something that people should listen to.
But this, I had to do this for the WoW community because people are shitting on WoW community for no reason.
And yeah, they shit on the WoW community. Don't get me wrong. I'm a 20-year WoW player. I've shit on the WoW community. Now, given that's effectively shitting on myself at that point, and I get it, but that just comes from a place of aggravation with a lot of things within the game world. And, I still play the game. I still take my time out of my days when I can and play it, so.
This isn't about gaming. It's about being a good person and not being dishonest. It's
Exactly.
about that. You don't have this stuff going around in work, school, or in sports. You don't do this type of behavior. And what I'm trying to get at is, for example, let's say Quinn and I, we know each other. And I like Quinn. I think he's a cool dude. Does he say a lot of weird stuff sometimes? And maybe I disagree? Yes. And
Yeah.
a lot of people might just side with him, right? Saying, oh, he's my friend. I like him. I'm just going to side.
Yeah, and that makes sense, right? You build a rapport with somebody, you're more likely to side with them, depending on like how far they go. You may not if they take it too far. You might look at them and be like, "Hey, man, you need to take a step back." But yeah, I mean, I get where he's coming from. You like the guy, you're gonna agree with a lot that he says, and that's fine. That's fine, right? Like, don't agree with everything, because if you shouldn't agree with it, don't agree with it. But I get where he's going here.
Side with him. It happens a lot. In this case, like Asmongold siding with Pirate, and he's dying on the hill with him.
All right. I like Thor. Let's go ahead and look at his situation. Oh, where are these losers getting mad at Thor from? Nothing Pirate Software could have possibly done would have changed the outcome of this fight.
Okay. Let's go a little bit further with Zaryu's. Zaryu's look on his face. Sorry. 100%. I mean, Asmon knows that was crap. There's a million things he could have done. Hence the look on Zaryu's face from a guy who plays a mage, clearly. There's a million things he could have done. He didn't do them. And that's whatever, his bad, his mistake, whatever. And whatever. You know what I mean? But the main problem everyone is having is the massive ego trip and the comments of, "I did nothing wrong. Let me deflect all the blame to everybody else." And I get in a tweet, he's like, "Oh, everyone did something wrong. Everybody played poorly." That's a blanket statement that you're not owning up to your own mistakes. You're just like "Oh, everybody made mistakes." I mean, you're covering it. You're not really owning up to your own. And then going further with it with, anytime I think it's Yamato tries to speak, he just leaves the call with them. And I get, you might be frustrated with the guy, you might be frustrated with what he says, but you still need to hear him out, right? You need to keep your ego in check and at least listen. And, just realize, yes, you are to blame just like others. It's not the fact you roached out. That's whatever. That happens in a lot of games all the time. Everyone's done it. It's the massive ego and the inability to just own up to your own fuck-ups.
Asmon, I love you, bro, but
I respect it. You just like this guy, right? You wanted to do some videos with him. I heard in the past, like, he protected you in a cancel situation. Sure. So you want to show some alliance and support him. But if it's wrong, you got to be truthful and say it's wrong, man. And it gets deeper.
Exactly. Just be fucking honest. Like, if it's wrong, whether it's your friend or not, just be fucking honest. It's not that hard, okay? Like, I have a lot of friends in my life, and like in the real world outside of the internet. And I will tell them straight to their face, like, "You're being a fucking dumbass. Cut your shit." But like, they expect it. They know if they go too far and say something really fucking stupid, I'm going to call them on it, right? And they're going to do it to me in return, because that's just how it is. That's how it should be. Like, especially with your friends, like, call each other out on your bullshit.
Than this. It's like, let's say Quinn did something I didn't like, and I speak about it, and Quinn now threatens me saying, "All right, I hope this was worth it." And anytime I would try to collab with others or do sponsors, Quinn would say really bad stuff about me, and I wouldn't get those. Same thing with the politic was happening. That's why I'm mentioning it earlier. When this was going around and people came out to be the left or the right, you start losing sponsors just for having the ability to think and saying the right things you think that are correct. And I'll go over this a little bit more later. But
Now, Kevin, I don't have any sponsors, but I get where he's coming from. The wrong things said can lead to things happening that can kind of ruin stuff for you that you worked hard for, or maybe just lucked into. and it's crap that it happens, right? And it sucks. And, you know, I mean, what can you do? You just kind of have to, like, man up, woman up, whatever you want to say. And, you know, take the reins as best you can in a situation like that.
Before we move away from the politic things, guys, what are we trying to do at the end of the day? Trying to make the world a better place to live in for our future kids
That's
or
true.
families, right?
That's true.
Maybe
Always trying to make the world a better place. And I think a lot of people have forgot that. They forgot that we're trying to make a better future for the others that are going to come after us. And the world today has just gone like batshit. I've seen some absurd things in the past couple of years that just blow your mind. And a lot of, I mean, it's been around for years. COVID made it real bad. I saw some real absurd shit in that time.
maybe there's more, but let's just simplify it to that. If that's the case, you guys need to fold up whatever sides you're at and look at both results. Don't just
And yeah, I mean, in the context of like a WoW guild, right? You're all there to work together, right? So you could look at it like politics when things go wrong within the guild and you're trying to remedy the problem. Like, you know, being a guild leader, I've tried to see the both sides of an issue between players and like resolve it in either, you know, just we squash it, or I find out who actually is in the wrong and I reprimand them or whatever, right? And it's expected, right? You're in a guild. This is effectively politics inside the game universe. And it's fine. It's whatever. It's not as insane as like real world politics. Usually you can squash an issue within like an hour or two, you know, just talking like adults. But you have to be able to take both sides. And like that's one problem I had with Asmon. He didn't take both sides. He took one side. And it's whatever, you know, he's going to do that. He is who he is. But you really need to take both sides into account instead of just one side. And that's part of what problem with what Pirate did. He's not taking his own side into accountability. He's taking the rest of the group's side. And I can sit here all day. I can be like, you know, oh yeah, Ozzy face pulled. He didn't LOS. He didn't demo shout properly. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. You know, Yamato ran in unstealth, not prepared to CC anything. You know, I could do this all day watching these clips. But ultimately, it's as simple as the group made mistakes. The rest of them owned up to their faults, and he chose not to own up to his and come off very sarcastically and kind of shitty to the guys who were like, hey, we can salvage this, come back. And he's even stated at this point, he just didn't want to come back. And I'm like, then why were you there in the first place? Why would you be in a fucking group with somebody if you don't plan on doing shit with them? Like, this isn't the game for you then. Like, get out of here. Go play a solo person game if that's what you want. And then the only mistakes you have to worry about are your own, right? So, like, don't be that way. Like, and here's the thing. I get it. I've been around as long as he has in WoW. And I get the idea of someone says run, you run out. In reality, we're used to the more of the like, hey, move back, move over here, instead of just run being the statement. And I get it. But get with the fucking times, man. Like, it's not hard to fucking learn new people's lingo in games, okay? Like, I've watched lingo change in games for 20 fucking years, right? Like, people now are like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. Well, you know, when we were raiding, it'd be a, hey, BRB bio. You know, the lingo changes, but it has the same meanings. And so, like, if someone says run, these are newer guys, right? And some of them aren't, but a lot of them are in the guild. So if they say run, try to take a little bit of grain of salt and maybe just take it as like a move back and try to get back and stay with the group. Don't fucking track star it like you're winning a medal to get out of there. Like, stay with your group and help get them out of there as best you can. If you can't help them get out of there and you're trying, that's fine. That happens. But I mean, at one point, he was so far ahead, he was like across the fucking continent. Like, what's the point of that? You could have helped the group. It's just ridiculous.
Just be one-sided and close yourself around that and not listen to anything else. Listen to the left, listen to the right. Look at what you think is right. Look at what you think is wrong and balance it out. This side might have something good. That side might have something good.
Exactly. Both sides are going to make a good point, and both sides are going to make a shit point. It is what it is. That's reality. But you can take those parts and try to balance out between them and be like, okay, let's throw out the bad and let's bring in the good, and try to see like a balance between the two.
It's really good that there is a split, by the way, so that if one side becomes too level-headed or egotistic right now, kind of like Pirate, you have the ability to call them out.
Exactly.
But this is where it gets wrong. You guys take sides even though it's wrong. And
yeah, here's the thing. Why are you taking sides? You're a guild. You're there to work together. There's one side, and that's everybody's on it. There's not, 15 sides in this fight. You're a guild. You own up to your shit, and you work together. That's it. It's as simple as that. It doesn't get any more easier than that. I mean, it's an MMO guild. It's easier than living in the fucking real world. Just get over this shit and move on.
that's not correct. That's what I'm trying to get at. And just like the politics, it's the same shit on Twitch. If you speak about someone, you burn all the bridges and they just close the gate around you, even though you might say something right. And a lot of people are afraid to speak out because of that shit.
And that's true. That's true. Like, just because you're a content creator or a streamer on any platform, like he brings up Twitch, but let's say any platform, you shouldn't be afraid to say your fucking mind, okay? Like, just speak it because you're a human and that's the ability you have. Now, it doesn't mean come out and say some absurd dipshit ass stuff, right? Like, be realistic and try to be, responsible for your words. But don't be afraid to speak up because, you have the right to do that. Especially with these guys. They're all adults. Like, just speak to each other like fucking adults. It's not hard.
How fucked up is that? I want people to not be afraid and speak your mind. Such a weird thing to say, but it's real, guys. It's like stuff like this exists. There's a lot of things I didn't get to say or not say because I would be afraid of getting crushed by another creator. Like this happens.
Man, he'll just lump you into a group of creators that have burnt your bridges, tell you hope it's worth it because you don't agree with them. Yeah, like that's the problem with Pirate right now. He's just lumping everyone in. Like, I get the guy had death threats and hate raids and all that, and that's crap. That's childish bullshit. But that's the internet. He knows the name of the game. He knows how it works. You can get death threats over the dumbest crap in the universe on the internet. Like, welcome to the internet. You know it, right? You grew up with it. But, and those should be canceled, right? Like, he should ban those people and cancel them and all that. But when you had people within that just memeing on you or kind of, poking fun or things like that, like, man the fuck up because you're an adult. You're not like some fucking teenager or a little child who needs his mommy to hold his hand, right? Like, you're an adult and you got into the content creation business. You purposely put your face on the internet knowing excuse me, knowing that people are going to do this. And like I said, ban the death threats, ban the cancellation people. That's fine. But don't just auto lump everyone in and ban people because they're memeing on you or poking a little fun, you know, or whatever. Like that will simmer down. That'll move on. It's a joke at your expense. It's fine. But like, be realistic. Don't lump everyone together.
There's a lot. This too. I started with Asmon, listening to other opinion perspective. Like Asmon says a lot of really good things too. And I like Asmon because he's not afraid to speak out. Yes, Asmon bans a few people. And yes, this guy can be arrogant. Yes, he dies on the stupidest hill sometimes.
It's
you
true.
gotta respect the man because he doesn't just ban them. He gives them a chance to speak out, even though
And he does. I can respect Asmon for that. Like, he will give you the opportunity to speak your mind before banning you. To, like, give you the opportunity and give you the mic to be like, hey, here's your 15 minutes of fame. Make a good point with it. And he very well might not ban you if you make a good point. I mean, he may be arrogant and egotistical and a massive fucking head, but he will at least listen to you and give you the chance. But that's the problem. Pirate was not willing to do that.
it might be unfair. Kind of like the Yamato case. You should have called him there, by the way. Like, if I watch Asmon's video, usually I side with him too. However, this is very important here. If Asmon picks sides because he likes someone and tells something untruthful in order to keep a good alliance with someone, you lose trust and credibility by doing that. And why?
Exactly. And that's a good point. I get Asmon's friends with Pirate and all that. But at the end of the day, if you're worried about losing a friend because of your honesty with them, then they're not worth a shit as a friend. You know what I mean? I've been like bluntly honest with some of my friends over some shit. Things that like people on the internet would quickly like leave. And I'm still friends with them. And we have respect for each other. And we know there's boundaries you don't fucking push, right? But that's the point of a good friend, is honesty, right? If you can be honest with your friend and they can hear your honesty and your words, and you're not trying to die on the same hill as them, you're trying to clarify and you just keep the truth out, and they can still be friends with you, that's great. If they can't, were they really your friends in the first place?
Do that because you've made so much good content. And I like
And
the
you make yourself look
enthusiasm of
bad,
you
too.
tackling things you don't know about. But you have to.
If you're being dishonest to save friends, like you're not helping yourself at all. Like, there's a time and a place to lie for your friends, right? There is a time and a place. But be honest with them until it's that time and place that you have to lie for them, right? It's a thing.
Own up to your mistakes if you don't know it. Like, don't pretend like you know it or tell lies to make yourself look good. Kind of like the pirate case. Like, this is an
Exactly.
important lesson. This is, you might laugh at this, but it's deep. That's why I made that whole big tweet about it. It's
It is a
big,
very big
it's
tweet.
deep. I want people to understand this. It's an important conversation.
It
You
is.
don't do this type of behavior.
No.
You understand? Like, I like a lot
It
of
shouldn't be a
people
thing.
on stream, on YouTube. And I think more streamers and YouTubers or any content creators should be more open to this whole thing about getting criticized.
They should. They should be open about being criticized. And like, here's the problem I had with Pirate. You know, he says all these things, and then he fell back on his own words. I mean, what do you want us to do, man? Like, you want us to just die on the hill with you for no reason? Like, you've made it where you've lost that little bit of trust. Like, this man has a huge following, right? And I get it. But I guarantee you, there's people in his own community right now, even though they're still there, are like, oh, come on, man. Like, really, this is how you handled it. It could have gone better. You could have done better. And they're second guessing now. And it sucks. I'm not saying they're going to up and leave him. You know, they'll probably still follow him and still watch him. And that's fine. Teach their own. But he's now created that like level of doubt within his own community because all of them watched it firsthand. And when they can see that he's in the wrong, they're gonna keep that in mind.
If somebody calls you out and it's correct, you should own up to it. Don't fucking lie and spread rumors like fake shit.
Yeah. Don't spread bullshit. Just own up to your fuck up. It's not hard. I mean, it sucks to take the high road sometimes. It really does. I'll be the first to tell you. I've told people straight out several times, like, I'll meet you on the fucking low road, right? Like, I've built a kingdom there. But at the same time, like, the older I get, you know, try to take the high road as much as you can. It doesn't mean take the high road at the expense of who you are. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. But, like, if there's no reason for you not to be the bigger person and take the higher road, then just fucking take it.
You're just being evil and you're confusing your community. It's messed up. They deserve to know the truth, but they're gonna...
Yeah, they deserve to know the truth. But here's the thing. Because you're on the internet, they're going to see the truth. And they're going to see your lies and see the way you treat something. And you're, you know, he wants to talk about cannibalizing him. You're cannibalizing yourself. You're letting your community cannibalize you because they watched you do this. And it's fucking ridiculous. Like, there's no reason it should have gone this far. It should have been squashed in like 24 hours, maybe 2 days tops, right? A little bit of arguing, let everybody simmer down, cool down, get level-headed, and come back and talk and make their points clear. But it just came down to a big ego fight. And it was stupid. It was childish. It was pointless. You're a 37-year-old man and you're arguing with a 20, maybe 30-year-old on something. Like, come on, man. Show you have the wisdom of age a little bit.
I agree with you because most of them are agreeable. They're already following you. They're subscribed, right? But do the right thing. And to close this part out, I don't hate Asmon or Pirate. It's okay if we don't agree with one thing. That's totally fine. I don't hate the guys. You don't have to hate someone because you don't agree.
Yeah. Like, I don't hate the guys. Like, I don't hate Pirate at the end of the day for how he treated it. I don't. I get it. Ego gets in the way. And, you know, maybe a month from now, he might be like, you know what? I did let my ego get in the way. And he may not. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop watching him for this instance, right? But it does make you lose a smidget of respect for an individual when you see this happen. And it kind of makes you question everything they're going to say or do because you've seen them lie or whatever. And now it's like, you've kind of lost my respect for you a little bit.
Agree with one thing.
I'm not saying hate on the guy. Don't hate on the guy, right? But at the same time, Thor needs to be a little bit more open when people come in there. If they want to criticize and be like, you could have done this, could have this, could have done this, when it comes to this, and they want to meme a little bit and poke a little bit of fun, he needs to be a little, you know, better about it and not just auto ban because of it. I mean, like I said, by all means, the really crazy outtakes, ban them because those people are there to be fucking keyboard warriors and they're not there to make anything better. They're there to be assholes on purpose.
Such a silly thing to do. If Guzu calls me out and he's like, hey, Savix, I don't agree with you on this and that because of these reasons. And if he gives me a good reason, how can I hate him? He's right. And thank you for letting me know. Now I know better. They think it's a bad thing. No, you learn from that failure.
Exactly. like, this is how humans learn from one another, right? We talk, we point out failures, we point out mistakes, and we learn from them. That's how it should be. That's how humans work, right? And I get it. On the internet, keyboard warriors, people want to talk big because they're hidden behind a monitor hundreds of miles away, and they're never going to see you face to face. I get it. They're small, they're tiny, insignificant people. That's whatever. You can't fight that army of things happening. But at the same time, like, just own up, man. Just own up to your mistake. Just, even if you had to come back like a week later and was like, all right, I've cooled down. I've looked back at everything. I fucked up. Like, I want to come admit to this. I want to own up to it. Then that's fine. If that's what it takes, do it. But at least try to come have some form of a talk with somebody.
There. And it stings sometimes. It hurts. But
humans don't like having their failures pointed out to them, right? We just don't. As a species, we don't like it. It is what it is. But that's where wisdom comes into play. Like, we learn as we get older that we may not like it, but there's a purpose behind it.
through that pain, you grow and achieve better things. Well, most do. And maybe some of you guys are struggling with that. It's fine. It's fine. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Just work slowly towards the better goods.
Exactly.
And you'll improve. Don't compare yourself to other people. It's not realistic.
It's not a race. Life's not a race, man. It's a marathon.
Anyways, I'm going off track. But I really wish more people start accepting criticism and taking it. And yes, I know it's hard because streamers, YouTubers, they get criticized about everything almost.
And I get it. No one likes to be criticized. And the problem is most people I've ever come across that want to be like, I want to give you some constructive criticism. They're not being constructive. They're just being assholes. If I come to you and go, hey man, this, we should work on this, blah, 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 right? That's fine, right? I'm coming at you calm, collective, to a point. But don't call it, whatever, when all you're going to do is just dunk on them the whole time, right? Because you're not helping them learn anything that they did wrong or help them remedy the problem that they created.
And get blamed for everything. But this is a good way to start things out. Start being honest so people don't fucking flame us all the time.
Exactly.
We get flamed because we have dishonest people or jackasses.
Exactly. And content creators and people on the internet, they deal with this all the time for countless reasons. People are mad because they're up there and they're making money doing what they love doing. You're playing video games and you're getting paid to play video games all day and you're making a living out of it. They worked hard to get there. I mean, there's a little bit of a luck with it, but there's work behind it too, right? So we get it. You're going to flame content creators, right? And content creators are going to flame each other all the time. But there needs to be a level of like understanding.
And I know people are going to be like, oh, it's just a YouTube video. Who cares? No, it's more than that. There's a lot of people watching. There's an audience. So take responsibility.
Exactly.
And live an honest life. Do the right things that you know that are correct in hopes of others following the same path.
Exactly.
And this applies to you guys too, watching, the audience. If people own up to their mistakes, I know some of you guys still might be holding a fist saying, grr, we need to crush him. No.
And that's right. That's right. Like, just let it pass. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the memeing on the guys, whatever, right? You're poking fun. You and your friends poke fun at each other all the time, right? My best friends, we talk shit to each other like it's a sport, okay? But at the end of the day, we have each other's back, like to the end. And that's the thing. Like, people need to be honest with each other and open with each other and point out mistakes to each other so that we can grow and learn.
If it's a genuine, sincere apology and you know it is,
Exactly.
then learn to forgive.
Exactly.
Again, I don't
It's
hate
hard,
any of these
do
individuals.
it.
I mentioned about the politics. You don't have to choose a side.
You don't.
Not always. And to close things out, let's talk about the narrative that's being thrown out there.
Like I said, I was a guild leader. I did not have the luxury of choosing sides. I had to be the guy in the middle. I had to figure out what the hell was going on. And then I had to decide from there. And don't get me wrong, I've had to boot people from the guild and felt bad about it. But ultimately, that's what had to happen. And I've booted from the people of the guild and was like, I don't give a shit. You're being a piece of crap. It happens. It comes with the territory, especially in games or MMOs more specifically, because it's a huge community thing, right? It's a giant working together thing. And so, I mean, I get it, right? Like, don't take a side unless you know there's a good reason to. Try to be in the middle and see both sides, and then from there, try to make what you will of it.
I mentioned it at the start where people think all the World of Warcraft players are terrible. They judge too harshly. Sure.
They do. I'm a WoW player. Not gonna fucking lie. I judge like a motherfucker. But I also learn from my mistakes, right? Right? I'm not 20-something years old anymore. I'm pushing 40. I've learned. I've gotten better. You know, I'm not over here like raging at a game. I'm not, you know, yeah, I'll get aggravated. I get pissed off. But I've bettered myself over time, right? That's what comes with age, wisdom, intelligence. And yes, the WoW community will judge harshly because it's a big community and it's been around for years. But, you know, at the end of the day, you gotta kind of grain of salt a lot of it.
Sometimes it could be that case. But does it ever blow up this big? No, because we don't have fucking, excuse my language, but
Hardly ever.
we don't have anyone show up like this with the ego that massive. I mean, go look at the whole tweet. I wrote it in a very descriptive way for a non-WoW player to understand. You don't do that
You
type
did.
of behavior.
It's a very
I don't
big
care
tweet.
what you've done in the past.
This man wrote a book. Like, I spent 3 years writing like 6-page essays every week for school, and usually 2 to 3 of them. And this is a small book.
Unexcusable. And all the WoW players that reacted initially, even for myself, they were all careful saying, oh, I really like Pirate, but this side we don't agree with. Most of them said it like that. And like I said, most of the people have different opinions, and that's okay.
And that's true. Like I even said in my video, I don't hate the guy. I just wanted to point out the things that he did wrong and what he could have done, right? And it's fine, right? He should be able to take that and see it and be like, you know what? Yeah, I fucked up. I could have done that. I could have done this, right? And he grows as a player, grows as a person, whatever he gets out of it. And, you know, everyone has a different opinion. I've seen a lot of OnlyFans opinions, and some of them are just a little over the top, a little ridiculous. A lot of them are pretty straightforward. I think it was a Grubby. He had a good one. He had a good take on it. Savix has had a good take on it. Sardako had a couple of good parts, but some of it was a little excessive. And it happens, comes with the territory, whatever, personalities and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's like I even said, it's not the fact that you fucked up. It's the fact that you won't own up to it. And that's what aggravates people. And WoW players are like die hard on own up to your shit. Now, don't get me wrong. WoW players are the same people who are going to blame everybody in the group for whatever. I've dealt with it for years. I get it. But at the same time, we're the same people who want you to own up to your shit if you were in the wrong.
Okay, that could be changed depending on how you give your answer. And right now, the way Pirate's giving his answer, he's just tripling down or quintupling down. And anyone who calls him out or tries to tell him, he just writes their name down on the no-no list. Like, he's threatening streamers. Obviously, this is taken down because it's a bad move by him. Why would you say these things? Like, this stuff exists.
Yeah, and for Pirate to make threats, it's childish. Because here's the thing. He wanted to be mad about death threats and cancellation threats and all this. And it makes sense to be angry about this. But then he turned around and did the same damn thing that he complained about. Like, that's just being hypocritical at this point. Like, you can't sit here and complain about all this and then turn around and do the same thing. Like, that's stupid. It doesn't solve a problem. It doesn't do anything.
It's like I said.
And for all the content creators that were out there trying to cannibalize me to boost their numbers for a little while, that may work for now. But in the future, no one's going to want to do anything with it.
The thing is, he still doesn't get it. That's why there's videos of him.
Here's the thing. Not every content creator is trying to cannibalize him. Like, I was not trying to cannibalize him in that video I did. I was just trying to be honest about the mistakes I saw that he could have remedied, right? And I even stated that at the end of the video. Like, I'm not here to hate on the guy. I'm not here to say he's a shit player and a horrible human. Just to own up to what you did. Like, you made mistakes. You have the VODs. You can look back at your own mistakes and go, yeah, I had a robe. I didn't click it. I had a ruby. I didn't click it. I didn't do this. I max Blizzard instead of rank 1 Blizzard in this instance. I didn't take the reins and try to gain control of the situation. I didn't point out that we shouldn't run up the middle because of this problem and that we should kill all these mobs just to be safe. And that's not just all on him. A lot of those other side ones is part of everything, right? Ozzy was running the group. He's the tank, right? So for Ozzy to be like, hey, let's just clear out all this extra crap so we don't even have to worry about it. We can forget all about it because it's gone. That's fine. That's what should have been done. It was a mistake made and a mistake learned from. It sucks. It costs 2 players their characters, but it's a mistake learned from, and they won't do it again. Now, I'm not saying Ozzy won't face pull. He probably will, but maybe it's a learning and maybe he won't. But Pirate didn't take anything away from this other than blaming others and assuming he did nothing wrong and that he couldn't have done anything to help. But in reality, he could have.
Continue saying, oh, this guild is full of hate. WoW players hate me for no reason because
they're not hating on you for no reason. They're hating on you. Not everyone. There's probably a large majority of people hating on him just to hate on him. That is what it is. Once again, nature of the beast. But not everybody is hating on you, Pirate, because you made mistakes. They're hating on you because you let your ego take over and didn't take ownership of what you did wrong. And then you quadrupled down a bazillion times over. And then you made veiled threats to people. Like, you built the wall of bullshit that people are angry about. And I'm sorry to tell you, it's an age-old tale. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Like, that's what comes with the territory. And you built this wall of bullshit and then got mad when people came to knock it down.
some people died. It's not about that. It's the behavior you made in there.
With you, other than other people that also want to cannibalize you. You're going to surround yourself with assholes.
No.
That's going to be on you, bud.
No, that's
That's
not
shitty
gonna
for you,
be us.
to be honest with you. And I feel bad for you. Straight up.
I feel bad for you because right now you're blinded by your ego and you ban.
And I can say, you know, I get a point with Pirate where he is like, you know, you surround yourself with a bunch of douchebags. You're going to be a douchebag. At the end of the day, that's not 100% true. You can surround yourself with douchebags and not be one. My real life friends, I have some. They're straight douchebags, like 100%. but I'm nothing like them, and I don't jump at the chance to do anything that they want to do just because I'm smarter than that, right? I'm not a dumbass, right? I learned not to do the stupid shit. And like I said, I get where he's coming from, but at the same time, he's not 100% correct.
Anyone, you banned like 4,000 people yesterday for saying literally one word. Like, did you think like that gets deleted? Like any word that questions about this gets deleted.
And that is true. Like, he banned the death threaders and the cancel culture people, and I get that. He should be doing that, right? And his mods are being threatened. They should ban people. But there was people making comment that they put like a mana potion emote up in there, and it was an auto ban. I'm like, that's childish, Pirate. That's really childish. That's childish of your moderators to jump in on that. They should know better. Like, they're memeing, man. They're poking fun. They're here to poke the bear a little bit, but not in a detrimental way. They're not here to like tell you you're a piece of shit. They're here to fuck around a little bit, right? Because that's what people do. They poke the bear because they can.
He's literally in a safe space. It's never gonna get to him. Anyone that tries to make him come to sense on Twitter, he just blocks. Like, this isn't how you live your life. And continuously slandering World of Warcraft because of your silly ego is a crazy narrative. Like, we don't need to be doing that. This is the lie I'm talking about. If he was honest, none of this would have blown up. And his last tweet, that ain't an apology, guys. I'm sorry. That's not. It's not. It's the reason why we keep getting all these tweets and memes about Pirate Software, because he's not owning up to this tiny, pathetic thing.
He's
and
not.
It doesn't help that you're just continuously...
It would take him 2 seconds to own up to it. Take him 2 seconds to look at his VOD or the multitude of clips and VODs and go, yeah, that was my bad. I'm going to own up to it. I'm going to, I was stupid in this moment. I let my ego take over. And, a lot of it would be forgiven. A lot of it. He wouldn't even been G-kicked if he just owned up to it. It would have just been forgiven. It would have been swept under the rug, and we would have moved on. But the way you treated it, you lost trust with your guildies, who are the people running things with you. If they can't trust you to do your job, they don't want to run with you. Same thing. If you're unsafe in the workplace, your people who work with can't trust to work with you, they're not going to work with you. It's just how it works. And it wasn't hard. Just own up to it. Just put your ego aside for a minute and own up to it. If you want to assume that you weren't in the wrong to the end of time, that's fine. But at least pretend, at the least, to be like, hey, that was my bad. I fucked up. In reality, you may not think that, but at least say it and try to hash the issue. I mean, you should be honest about it and actually give a shit, but, it doesn't always happen.
Banning everyone that tries to speak about it. You're just living a false life then, in your little bubble. If Pirate ever hears this, I want you to know, if there's 1,000 of people knocking on your door, you might want to rethink, did I really do something? And maybe it's worth a while to listen to what...
Exactly. As a content creator, if you have that many people come knocking at your door, like you said, trying to make a point of what you did wrong, and we're not talking about the ones who are there just to be assholes, right? We're talking about the legitimate, trying to point things out, try to be realistic with you, and you just dismiss them, like you're not learning. You're not learning anything, man. You haven't learned anything in life at this point. And you're just choosing to ignore people who very well may teach you something or open your eyes to the issue at hand. But you're just not willing to listen to them.
What they have to say. A good example is him leaving the call when Yamato speaks 2 times, right? Maybe it's worth listening to that stupid one question.
And yeah, I get it. Maybe Yamato is being super irritating, maybe. It is what it is. But you sat here on this super long diatribe of your own information for yourself. And then anytime he tried to speak, you're like, nope, I'm out of the call. I don't care what you have to say. You're a fucking child or whatever you thought about it. He sat there and listened to you. Now, I understand him trying to talk over you. It's rude, disrespectful, right? Even in the real world, it is what it is. But, like, when you gave him the floor to speak and he went to speak, you just up and left. Like, why did you make him sit through your entire storybook of excuses and then didn't give him his time when you gave him the floor? Like, you might as well not have even given him the floor. There was no point to it.
An example is a student asking a dumb question. If he's shy not to ask, he'll never know. But if he asks, even if it might look silly, for that minute of asking the question, at least now he learned and he doesn't have to ask that stupid question twice.
Exactly.
Everyone knocking.
I can't remember what anime it's from, but I think one of the best lines ever is, the only stupid questions are the unasked ones.
On his door right now are trying to make him come to sense. And yes, I'm aware of all the death threats, etc.
Those are
I
horrible.
mentioned on the tweet, like
They're
none
shit.
of
They
that
really are.
he deserves.
No,
And
he
I hope
doesn't.
it stops, but it's online and everyone gets death threats online.
It's the nature of the beast if you're online. The internet brings out the worst in a lot of people. And you, like I said, grain of salt, sand in the wind. You just gonna have to deal with it.
A lot. Doesn't matter what game you play. It really doesn't. It's unfair to single out World of Warcraft. You play League of Legends, Dota, CSGO, you're gonna hear more awful things. Let's not
Yeah, you are.
pretend.
You are.
Alright? Anyways, I hope you own up to things and speak with you.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with Savix 100% on like every point that he made. Just own up to it. That's all the guild wanted, was own up to it. And with Yamato, whatever it may have been, he may have been disrespectful with overstepping and kept stepping on your toes every time you tried to talk. And I get that. It's irritating. It's aggravating. Even in the real world, it's horrible and it's annoying, right? Like, I have to get on to my own daughter when she does it sometimes to people and tell her, hey, like, that's very rude. But at the end of the day, once you went through all you had to say and they were like, okay, I'm giving you the floor now, you can speak and I won't have, you have to run over me with your words. And the minute he says like one sentence or asks a single question, you're just like, no, fuck this and I'm out. Like, you just proved you've learned nothing at all and that you didn't care in the first place to listen to him. You just wanted your words to be put out there for him to hear, which is just you bitching at this point, and didn't care anything about what he had to say. Whether it be, he goes, I made mistakes myself. This is what I did wrong, blah, 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 but we tried to save it. I made the wrong call, whatever. You didn't even give him the opportunity. You just flat out just said, nah, fuck you, guy, we're done. And it's dumb. It's childish, truly, for someone pushing close to 40. It's childish. Like, come on, man. Like, try a little harder. Let people talk. Like, don't let people run you over. Like, it is disrespectful if they want to interrupt you when you're trying to have the floor in your moment and explain. But at the same time, the minute you give them the floor, that's when you need to learn. It's your time to like shut up and listen and maybe see what you yourself didn't see about yourself, but what they saw. And maybe listen to it and learn something from it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Just, you learn, you make mistakes, you learn from it, right? Failures, it happens. And don't make blanket statements of, we all made mistakes, we all played poorly, and then not elaborate where you could have done better or the mistakes you specifically hit the mic, specifically made, own up to those specific mistakes on top of the blanket statement to make it very clear to people. That's the biggest thing right there. It's not that hard. It's a learning process, right? We're humans. We're always learning. We're always trying to better ourselves the older we get. It's that simple. But, like I said, I agreed with Savix. I do. A lot of people in OnlyFans takes were a little too excessive, I thought. I know where they were going with it and where they were coming from it. They just might have gone a little too far. And that's fine. It happens. It's their personality. It's whatever. But in the end, man, they just want you to own up. They want you to put the ego aside and learn from the mistakes you made and own up to them and be respectful to them, just like you expect them to be respectful to you. It's as simple as that by the end of the day. So sorry for the super long rant video here, but I wanted to give my 2 cents on things that Savix was saying, because I do agree with him 100%. I agreed with his tweet. I agreed with this video. He made really good points. He's not being absurd in his outtakes. He was just being very blunt and very to the point, to not sugarcoat and not misconstrue anything. He wanted it to be understood and clear and precise to what was going on. And it was great. He did a fantastic job with it. And I'm sure Pirate's probably aggravated and angry at his tweet, but honestly, maybe he should read through that massive book of a tweet a couple times and really take into account his own ego and put it to the side and come to the conclusion that, yeah, I fucked up and I should have owned up to it. I shouldn't have just pointed the blame. I should have owned my part. That's fine. You want to say everybody made mistakes, everybody played poorly, but also elaborate further on your own mistakes and the things that you did wrong. And just don't roach out. It's not that hard. I mean, I get it. Oh, I'm going to lose my character after a couple 100 hours of playing. You're a content creator. You leveling a new character is people still watching you and your content. Obviously, they're going to watch you level another character. Look how many people have died in OnlyFans over and over again. And people are still watching them level new characters all the time. It's not the end of the world. You're one of the top end content creators in the world. You can level 1 million characters and your community is going to watch you, man. Don't be afraid to lose your character in hardcore, because you can level another one and people are going to watch, and it's new content. It's more content. It's something funnier might happen with the next character. And I get it sucks. It's horrible. It's a lot of work, but at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? You can just make another character and do it again and have fun with it and just enjoy and bring more laughs to your community and people watching. I want to thank everybody who watched this video. I don't know if anybody will watch it all the way through or not. It's a pretty long video. It is what it is. But, like I said, I wasn't here to bash on anything. I just, I really wanted to go with what Savix said, because I do believe he made a very good point through his entire video with everything. Once again, if you like my reaction, or you want to see me react to other things, perhaps, whatever it may be, go ahead, hit me up in the comments, let me know, ask my takes on something, or whatever it may be. It's cool. But I'm out. Everyone have a good day. Live your lives, be great. Don't let your ego get in your way too much. Sometimes put it down. It's fine. Let the world open up to you a little bit. All right. Everyone have a good one.